Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be talking about a debate between Kwadwo Sheldon and Headless Youtuber. We'll be analyzing who is the better content creator in general. Let's begin. Now, Kwadwo Sheldon, we know his roots, right? He started pumping out content like professionally and seriously during 2020 when Corona became like a thing. He started content creation before then, but you see, as we were locked inside, people were restricted from going to work and from going to other places, and people wanted information, right? So he was the one serving that niche or providing kind of filling that market demand. So that was his thing, and eventually became a household name. People were loving his content and were loving him in general. So, like, we all know him. Now, you see, eventually, when you are doing something and you are successful at it, the money and the fame, it gets to your head. So sometimes the way you used to publish your content, you may not publish it the same way. So that is Kwadwo Sheldon in a nutshell. Now, Headless YouTuber came in around 2021 as the corona was easing off, or 2020, 2021. And his story is that, you see, because of the corona, some people had to be laid off because, they had to downsize. There were people were not patronizing from businesses, right? So they had to reduce their expenses by laying some people off. So Headless YouTuber was a victim of layoffs, right? And when you're laid off, you need to like make some income, try to keep on surviving. So he did some research on YouTube of how to earn money and also how to become a YouTuber. And then he followed that path. But you see, content creation is not for everyone. Some people don't start that journey because maybe they are shy. So he wanted a way to like pump out content, but also retain his like identity or not like to be known because when you're laid off and then you're on YouTube, their former colleagues see you and be like, oh, so that's him, that's what he's doing right now. So he chose the route to hide his identity, right? And that's what he did. That's his story. So he to over time he made a name for himself. Actually, now people love him and all that. He has built around 70,000 plus subscribers. I'm sure by now, by the time you're watching it, to be around 80, 90, 100. So that's the story or the background of these two people. Now let's analyze who is the better content creator. Kwadwo Sheldon, is he funny? Let's use those metrics. Funny, entertainment. Does he provide like detailed information and overall? So funny. Kwadwo Sheldon is not the type who can like form a deliberate skit. You see those comedic skits. He tried that once, but he couldn't like sustain in that niche because there are some people who can create a skit and you sit back, you watch and be like, that's really funny. But he's not one of those people. Any skit he like puts out, it seems a little bit cringe, right? So skit creation or comedic, like scripted skits making, no, that's not his field. But he's funny when it comes to impromptu jokes. You see, when he's publishing them, like carrying out the Yawa of the day, the kind of facial expression he gives, the kind of like insults he dishes out to those who need the insults. Those are the few things that make him like hilarious or makes his content a little bit funny. So that's his funny aspect. Detailed information. Let's analyze that part. Kwadwo Sheldon formally doesn't really provide detailed information. He just he gives reactions. Like he'll read let's say a story is trending. He won't do in-depth background information. He just gets the the surface information and some what people have said online about it, maybe on Twitter. Someone will be like, hey, he shouldn't have done this, he shouldn't have done that. That's what he goes, gathers, and then comes and presents, right? So his content is mainly kind of reaction of what has happened. He won't deep dive to find out any background information. So for comedic skit creation, I'll give him a 5 out of 10. For detailed reinvestigation, I'll give him a 6 out of 10. But there are some instances where maybe something is happening somewhere and maybe he has connections to call and present to his audience. That's once in a while, that kind of vibe. That's how I'll not give him 5 over 10. I'll give him 6 out of 10. Now, what else? Yeah, personality or fierceness. I'll give him 9 out of 10 because his brand, the Kwadwo Sheldon brand, is highly reliant on the fierceness or the aggressiveness he has. I mean, the name Kwadwo Sheldon, although the channel was his, anyone who comes and when he's not around there, someone steps in, the person can't maintain that Kwadwo Sheldon brand. The person will collapse it because he is the Kwadwo Sheldon Studios, right? So for aggressiveness, I'll give him 9 out of 10. So overall, Kwadwo Sheldon, I'll give him an 8 out of 10 for content creation. Now let's move to Headless Youtuber. So Headless. For comedic or funny, how funny he is, I would say I'll give him a 7 out of 10 because he knows how to be funny. The only problem, or it's not really a problem, but his strategy which he uses to like make you laugh is the laughing sound effects he uses. You see, it's a psychological trick, right? When you're watching a show and then like people are with you and they laugh, as a social kind of, you have to like blend in with society. So you try to laugh along or find out what is funny. And even if it's not so funny, because people laughed, you're like, oh, so it's funny. Yeah, so that's one of the strategies he used. But I think he is funny, but not to a higher degree. So that's for funniness. Where he wins straight up is his in-depth, like kind of, he really goes in depth in his investigations. And that's what I love about him. He's not the type who just brings shallow information. Although the news is trending, he will wait, gather all the necessary information, and then present it to his audience. And that's what makes him different. So for detailed information, I'll give him a 9 out of 10. He wins with Sheldon on that, like straight up. And the thing is that he doesn't have a huge kind of workforce that Kwadwo Sheldon has. It's just him and another person. I don't know if it's female or male, Alatiari, who helps him in the background information, and they do a pretty good job. And aggressiveness, now that is where he falls short. I'll give him a 4 out of 10 on aggressiveness. Although his personality is cool, but he's the one who he doesn't want trouble. He supports all sides. He doesn't want to, like, cases where he's supposed to put his foot down and be like, oh, I take this stance. You see that although he's taking a stance, it's like, I'm a peaceful guy. He doesn't have any kind of oh, I get that that's his personality, that's his brand, but well, for someone who wants to, they said a person who tries to hold both sides, something holds none or something. He who doesn't stand up for himself stands for nothing or so. So in total, to summarize, I'll give Kwadwo Sheldon as like someone that like rating his YouTube journey and all that. His whole portfolio, I'll give his portfolio a solid 8 out of 10 because he was here since day one when we needed him and was here providing us content. So 8 over 10. And for Headless, although he's doing a good job, he's rising fast, I'll give him a solid 7 out of 10. So that's who I rate and how I rate them. Thanks, and thanks for listening or watching. We'll meet again.